co-DC for the Georgia Bulldogs. That's two-time national champion. Back-to-back Georgia Bulldogs got paid. $1.9 million is his new annual salary. This is a good move by Georgia. This happened last week. We got to unpack this just a little bit more right now. Programs are a lot like buildings. They're made up of bricks. And as the building gets more valuable, what can you then infer? The value of those bricks go up, right? Glenn Schummann is a valuable brick for the University of Georgia. And as Georgia continues to succeed, there's a lot of people that are going to want to try and take some of those valuable bricks from their program and bring them to their program and build with them. Hey, you did that well. You had that guy on your staff. We want him on our staff. We're going to pay him more. We're going to elevate him, whatever it ends up being. And so for Kirby Smart and company, if they had lost Glenn Schummann to a place like, Alabama, a place that Glenn Schummann graduated from, a place Glenn Schumann's very familiar with, there was a lot of buzz around Glenn Schummann and that DC job while it was available now. If they had lost Glenn Schummann, Georgia would have lost their OC and Todd Monken, their quarterback in Stetson Bennett, and their defensive coordinator, one of their co-DCs rather, in Glenn Schummann. That would have been, I don't want to say catastrophic, that would have been a very unideal situation for Kirby Smart. Now, would he have handled it well? I'm sure he would have. I'm sure they would have been fine. But those would be three pretty critical positions to replace outside of your head coach. I would argue the most important positions to replace outside of your head coach. So to me, this is a very self-aware move by Georgia, by Kirby Smart, to say we can't lose these three bricks that are very key building blocks to what we did the last 2 years. So good for Kirby Smart and Georgia for keeping him. It's only going to get more difficult, though. I'll just say that. There is not a world where Glenn Schummann stays the co-DC for Georgia forever. Let's dial it back from forever, because that's a pretty exaggerative statement to make. There is not a world where Glenn Schummann stays the co-DC at Georgia for the next 3 years. Just not happening. Just not happening. You know it and I know it. I got some more thoughts on that. Make sure you're subscribed. I've tried to explain this a little bit more. People say, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We say that too, but the reason why we say that is when you subscribe to this channel, it gives us more in-depth analytics of the content that you want to see. And so by nature of you subscribing, we have better data to do more content you want to see. Okay, so we appreciate y'all in advance for that. No time like the present to join the party. We got college football, spring ball back on and popping. Also, make sure you're following me on Instagram and on Twitter at Jody Pickell. I say that because it's just a great medium for us to be able to interact back and forth on there. So hit me on the socials. Like I was saying, Glenn Schumann's not staying co-DC forever. There's a couple of ways this could shake out. One is he stays at Georgia a little bit longer. You get rid of that co-title in front of his DC. Now, what happens to Will Muschamp? I'm not sure. I don't want to sort all that out right now because that's too many hypotheticals. But you hear what I'm saying. Glenn Schummann is a rising star in this industry. He's not going to stay a co-DC forever. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Kirby Smart knows it. Glenn Schummann knows it. This raise, to me, was putting a Band-Aid on a situation for now. That's going to come back around. They know they got to deal with that. The other situation, he could take a full-time DC job at another big program. Now, he would not take a DC job at a lower-level school or a school that would be a lateral move. He's only taking a DC job if he gets an offer at a place like Alabama or a place like Ohio State. Or you hear what I'm saying? I don't mean those schools specifically, but the sentiment of what I'm saying is he's not going to leave Georgia just to be DC exclusively at another school. He would leave for a very big opportunity as a DC. I hope I haven't been unclear there. Now, the third opportunity, which we'll see what happens here, if we're tracking history, it's not unlikely, gets a head coaching job somewhere, like what Dan Lanning did. DC at Georgia, win a national title, head coaching job at Oregon. Okay, so that's the three scenarios that I think could play out for Glenn Schummann at Georgia. When and if he does leave, Kirby Smart has shown us how he solves these problems. He has the solution already built in. They build it in internally. Todd Monken leaves for the NFL. About 15 minutes later, Mike Bobo becomes the new OC. Stetson Bennett leaves for the NFL, as he legally had to. And you've got a bunch of 4- and 5-star quarterbacks you've already recruited. You don't need to go hit the portal and go get the answer. You've got the answer in-house. So what I'm trying to tell you is I believe if and when Glenn Schummann does leave, Kirby Smart will be ready. But the fact they put a raise on this man right now is a phenomenal move by Kirby Smart for reasons I already told you. If you lose your DC, OC quarterback, that is a tough offseason to undergo at Georgia. I would expect the defense to be elite yet again in Athens, Georgia. It will need to be elite as you break in a new quarterback and a new OC. It's probably going to have to be the calling card of your program once again. But this is the next step for Georgia. This is the next evolution of what they're going to be for the future. As you elevate, as you win national titles, people try and poach your people. You have to replace bricks. And so, great job by Georgia hanging on to this brick and Glenn Schummann for the 2023 season. But how they move forward will be what defines Kirby Smart and how many more titles they're able to win. But again, the impact of Glenn Schummann staying for 2023 cannot be overstated. Very big keep for the Dogs. Glenn Schummann, like I said, a rising star in our game. And I hope he stays at Georgia for a long time for Kirby Smart's sake. But we'll keep an eye on it. Spring football is back, y'all. Dogs have already started. We'll have some intel for you here very, very shortly. Make sure you subscribe to the On3 YouTube channel to get all that spring intel. The good folks at Dogs HQ, our Georgia On3 site, Wes Blankenship, Palmer Toms, Jake Rowe. I mean, those guys do the best job in the business covering Georgia. So get a membership over there as well. But football is back, and it never left. College football is a year-round sport. Why we get to have this show. Why we'd love to have y'all here. We're getting content every single day. So make sure you're locked in over here. Love y'all. We appreciate y'all, man. Glenn Schummann got paid. We're going to keep the party rolling. And we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.